What's happening, everybody? It's Spark and welcome to today's episode of Breaking Point. We are now at Chapter 5 at the Italian Grand Prix after recovering from some tyre problems at Silverstone, which we did end up getting a point in the end, so thank goodness for that. But now we are on to the next episode. I've just obviously finished my Mind Team episode, which went out last week. So now we are back to business with Breaking Point. If you're a fan of the series so far, then do hit that subscribe button, the notification bell icon. We'd love to have a round with the chat, and I'd love to have you around supporting the series for my team. So here we go then. It's the Italian Grand Prix in this next episode of Breaking Point.
I'm not sure if it's something to do with the energy storage. I'm losing power on the straights.
Right. And you said the acceleration was okay? I'll take a look at it.
And how are we today, chaps? Everything running smoothly, I hope?
All right, Brian. Yeah, we're just going through a few last-minute tweaks.
Ah, that's what I like to see. With dedication like that, maybe you'll be able to get us back a few more of those points, eh?
Yeah, I'll try.
Actually, Aiden, I'm glad I've caught up with you. Thought you might like to know. I had a call this morning from Toto Wolff. Mentioned you directly.
Oh.
I think they're sniffing around for next season. You're being watched.
So, no pressure then?
So, what's the problem with the car?
I'm losing power on the straights. It's not a massive issue. I'm sure we can deal with it.
Yeah, theoretically, do we have time to install the Spec 2 unit before the race?
Yes, boss.
And Casper's reporting no problems?
No.
Okay, let's do it. Put the Spec 2 in Aiden's, would you?
Well, that would sort it. I mean, if you're sure.
Of course. You could do with a little boost. A little boost. Besides, anything for our star driver. Casper, how are you today? Feeling good about the race?
Fucking hell, that was awkward. That is terrible in terms of driver management there. I mean, I'm sorry, Brian. That was just rubbish. If you were on my team, mate, you would be fired. Appalling, mate. Appalling.
Brian.
Aiden, I'm glad I've called you. Listen, don't worry about Casper.
Let me stop you there. Brian, Casper's the furthest thing from my mind right now. I've got a race to focus on.
Good man. In the garage just now, that was my fault. I know how he can be.
What, childish? Self-centered? I'm sick of it, Brian. He's been on my case ever since I joined the team. He needs to grow up.
Okay. You just leave Casper to me and get your head in the race. Let's put that new power unit to good use, eh?
Sure thing, Brian. See you on the other side.
Okay, I was prepared to accept all the other stuff about Casper being shady in this series, but I got a call bullshit on that. I mean, looking from a driver's perspective, that is so harsh treatment in terms of your drivers. And hang on a minute, who wrote this article? So that's what's happened to Lucas Weber. He's been turned into Jolyon Palmer, it seems. And that's kind of sad, really. He was always the supportive one in the F1 2019 games, and now he's been turned into a journalist because he just couldn't quite hack it with the big guns. But unfortunately, this is not a sport where the nice guys always finish first, so you're more likely to get him if you are the sort of Devin Butler type. Well, Lucas Weber, F. That's all I'm going to say to that. F. But now, looking at the story we got for Breaking Point, this absolutely changes things. Well, actually, no, it doesn't change things. It just fuels the tension even further. And maybe, I don't know, maybe Butler's had a word with Brian, I don't know. But the preference is switching towards us as a team. And the trackside interview, I get it. Leave me alone, please. I don't want to do this sodding interview I have to do all the time. And I've been chased yet again by Colin Perry. F1 driver problems. Honestly, guys. It's just... I feel like I'm channeling my inner Kimi Räikkönen here because... I'm glad in this storyboard you don't have to do the interviews themselves because they just sound so unbelievably taxing. Also, I'm kind of swearing a lot in this one. I do apologise.
Welcome to Monza, where the crowd are ready for today's action. And we hope you're ready to see the world's best drivers fighting it out for that #1 spot. It's time for the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest circuit in F1. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some closer action. Here we are then, Monza, the 90th time this event has been held, so a special year for F1 fans, particularly the Italians, who are rightly proud of this event and its heritage.
Yeah, it always feels a bit special here, doesn't it, Crofty? Hamilton holds the joint record with Schumacher for number of wins here at 5 apiece, but could snatch it outright today with a 6.
Nearly 100 years of history here, so let's see what this year holds in store for the Italian Grand Prix. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Ackermann, Carlos Sainz, and Kvyat, Norris, Ricciardo, Gasly, and Alexander Albon, Ocon, Leclerc, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Butler, Vettel, Grosjean, George Russell, and Aiden Jackson, Magnussen, and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right, let's see if we can squeeze some performance out of this new power unit. Good luck out there today.
Well, yeah, we definitely paid the price for that engine change. We've gone back, all the way back down the grid to Grosjean Magnussen territory there. Right, with 5 lights on, it is lights out and away we go. And how do we get along from here? It's not a bad start from us. We've got the overtake on there as well. Coming up to the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel. Placing ourselves well for turn 1. The curves on this game are absolutely destroy us if we don't get them right. So we're right next to the Renault now of Esteban Ocon, the fortunate winner of Hungary earlier this year. But we have finally got ourselves past him, and now we are behind Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri, who had a bit of a quiet race this time in Hungary. It wasn't quite the Monza showcase we got last year. We'll go down the inside there, down by him and Daniel Ricciardo. We cut the curb there just so we get enough grip, but we have done quite a lot of cars in the first half. I think we are now in 10th place after that, which you never see that happen in real life unless there's been a collision, and we've done pretty well considering we have had parts to change. We've also had Casper Ackermann in front of us in PA. I think he is the target now. He is the one that we need to beat, but that will rub salt into the wound after we got essentially told we are the star driver of the team.
Okay, you're in the
We're not far behind him now. We are behind the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, which we're a little far back. We're knowing the way this game works. Are we going to go down to the side? Yes, we are. We brake very, very late. The concertina pushes Leclerc all the way back. We are now in P9. Now Ackermann actually I think has passed Carlos Sainz in the McLaren, so we have now got to hunt down the man that is the smooth operator, Carlos Sainz. It won't be too long, I suspect, before we're on the back of him. Another way there's difficulty in this game. Well, so in fact we are on the back of him now, coming into the second chicane, coming up to the first of the 2 Lesmos, and that more or less will cover the end of lap 2. And Sainz had another quiet one. I mean, I'm glad he got a podium finally in Hungary, but it was another one of those podiums that we got through Stewart's decision, which was slightly better or worse, but either way the podium is a podium. But he's not going to be able to defend against us. We go down the inside, but always so close there, and Albon in front of us as well from the Red Bull. Well, I don't want to cause anything too troublesome with the Red Bulls because Christian Horner will send me to the stewards and then he'll just have Albon recreate the line later. So it's just a bit of a hassle more than anything else, and glad that debacle is over with Silverstone, because what we want to see is close racing, and we're getting it behind Alex Albon here down to the Ascari chicane. And these curves are so tricky on this one. You've got to, if you're on them, you've got to really be on them, or if not, you just got to stay off them. If you're halfway, you will literally spin, and that will be the end of the session, end of my credibility rather as a racer here. We got a nice exit here. Albon is in front of us. We'll have the DRS and so will he, but we have overtaken and we got almost a double toe from everybody else behind. Barely anything in it now. Albon covers the inside. We go to the outside there. How was this one going to play out going into the chicane? We let Albon get ahead there. We go round to the outside into the left-hander there, and we have done a nice clean overtake on Alex Albon. Horner, you're out of the steward's office, mate. No need to worry. We have done a clean move on your boy here. That's absolutely fine. Now see, looking at Ackerman, he's actually made quite a few places now. I think he's now up to, was it P5 as we sit down behind Lando Norris, and we just caught up to the back of Norris now, who again was kind of an innocent victim, I think, in Hungary as well. However, he's a victim, not a case whether he's innocent or not, because we are going down the inside to take him, and we break a little bit early there, but we just get the line stopped. We are now one place behind our teammate Kasper Ackerman, who would be seething after the exchange to during the weekend about us being the star driver and getting the extra power unit. So coming up now into the second chicane on lap 6 and how things are going. Oh, look at that curb. That's nope, nothing to see here, guys. Nothing. We're all good. Yep, you didn't see me go over anything. It wasn't bad editing. Just back. Yep, just back in the game. We are now behind Ackerman, coming up to the end of lap 6 and onto lap 7 now. It's our exit here that we've got to get right. We are a little bit further behind for our more recent overtakes on the stakes of Lando Norris and Alex Albon, but I think Ackerman will have DRS from the car in front, which I think he does. But we have got to beat him here. If we overtake him on track, we don't have to rely on pit strategy to do it. It's going to be 3 wide going down the inside. We tag alongside Danny Kvyat, and the torpedoes, I think, has got us there. We stay behind Ackerman, and thankfully there's no running with him, so things are still going to be somewhat harmonious in the team, even with the egos battered from the exchange this morning. We go down the inside to Ackerman, but can we take Kvyat? No, we can't. We just sit down behind him, and we are past our teammate Kasper Ackerman. We're already up on our target, which is where we need to be before we progress to the next chapter here. And now with Kvyat in front of us, this is a man nicknamed the Torpedo, famous for his, well, torpedo-ness. I mean, look any further than 2017 and you will see the Torpedo in his prime. It's a shame he's not racing in Formula 1 anymore, because he's probably one of the more talented Russians that we've ever had in the Formula 1 grid. So his presence will certainly be missed. I know he was linked, I think he's the current test reserve driver in the Renault, but that's all the relevant stuff now. That we know what his fate's going to be for this career mode, but what we know now is what our fate is going to be here. We have to be sure, and with Kvyat not having DRS and we still have plenty of overtake on our hands, we will be able to overtake him now coming into the first corner.
Coming in this lap.
Yes, Jeff, I know that's our strategy. It's lap 8 now. Soft tyres are still working. We go around to the outside of the Torpedo, and we go down to the inside there, and the move has been stuck. The Torpedo unfortunately hasn't sunk our ship going into this race. It's now lap 8. We are so close now to, we just have to cover ourselves with the pit stop and we should be fine. And we're coming now to serve our pit stop. We'll go on to the mediums. I think with 25% races they go quite far, I think, in terms of tyre safety. We go out. That's a brilliant stop, lad. That's a brilliant one. It's not quite the 1.88 we saw in Hungary by Red Bull, but that's fine, lads. That's all we need to do. We are going to sit ourselves very well in 4th position, which is a brilliant result given where we started, and I think it was 18th. I think it was the same story as well for the French Grand Prix. The only difference is now, this time, we have a new Spec 2 unit in the back of our car. So you could argue that France was probably the better drive, but you can't take any away from this, just how dominant we have been. Absolutely sent it where we've needed to. And now we're on to the medium tyres with plenty of life to go. It won't be long, I suspect, before we cross over the line. Easy picking, so we should easily be able to progress to the next chapter. In terms of the updates for this, I know at the time they produced the 1.05 patch, so I know there's going to be difficulty, I think, from from about chapter 9. I think they mentioned that on the Cody's website. So I'm not quite sure what's in store for me there, but I've been told this is a 16 chapter series, so that's probably lurching towards into the beginning of the 2021 season, which inevitably 2021 will be the end of this episode, because they can't exactly go into the future unless it's my team. The futures, it's looking bright for us. We are now in 4th place. We got a little bit wide there. It's 4th place for us, which is probably the hands down best of the rest. I know Albon once again has had an absolute mare in the Red Bull, which I like how they keep in sort of consistent or true to the struggles that they've had kind of in real life that they had in Formula 1 at the time. This is now, we're just right on board for the last lap. I took this one a little bit easier, so it's not really much. I wasn't going to catch Verstappen or Bottas there, so it just makes sense to bring the thing home and just enjoy the result for what it is. And while Casper Ackerman's not going to be too happy with us, I mean, it was Brian's decision to give us the extra boost in power, so we've taken it and we have absolutely run with it. On a power-hungry circuit, we're coming across the line. Hamilton wins the race, but we are coming across the line to secure P4 and on to the next chapter.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it.
So it's a decent result for you today with a finish in the points. How are you feeling, Aiden?
Well, I'm feeling great, but looking at the answers here, I think we've got to take a kind of a harsh but humble view.
It's a good result, but let's be honest, it still could have been better. Granted, these are some solid points for the team. I just feel there's a big room for improvement.
A big talking point, irrespective of today's results, is how you've improved overall throughout the season. What would you say to that?
Well, a lot of it is down to the team for giving me the extra power unit, so I've got to be humble there.
I couldn't do it without the support of the team. They've been incredible. I'm feeling looked after, and I couldn't ask for more. So any improvements are thanks to them.
It's funny you should mention the team as a whole. Can you give us an update? How is the current relationship between you and Casper Ackerman?
Fucking awkward?
Look, driver relationships are always going to be tricky. Individually, you're always pushing yourselves, and that can cause friction. I can't let anything like that worry me. Besides, we're fine.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Guess you would have gathered that I couldn't just go out and say that things are going badly with Casper. I know that's not quite true to Aiden's character, the way things go behind the scenes, but you know what drivers are like, they have to show at least a united front on the outside, but it's all kinds of awkwardness going inside the Racing Point garage, given that we've been given preferential treatment, let's be real. And it's hard for the preferred driver to do anything about it. It's almost like the kind of Vettel-Mark Webber situation in Red Bull, but read Mark Webber's book, you want to know a bit more about that. But look at the TV, Daniel Ricciardo has been announced to move to McLaren. Ah man, I wish I hoped you were in for, Danny boy. You're going to have a troublesome year, my friend, to put it bluntly. Oh, let's see what Mum wants to say. She's calling.
Mum?
Aiden, I'm here.
Oh, good. After that flight delay, I was starting to get concerned.
Don't worry. Everything's fine.
And they're looking after you?
Better than at Silverstone.
Good, because you were my lucky charm there, Mum. And I'm hoping you do the same here.
I'll try, love. Now just do what you do, and everything will be great.
I know. Mirror signal maneuver.
And always stick to the speed limit.
I'll try.
Have a great race, Aiden. I'll see you after.
I'm so pleased you're here, Mum. This one's for you, eh?
Yeah, only stick to the speed limit if you're in the pit lane. Apart from that, go nuts. That's the advice I would give. So there we have it then. It was... so we finally got around to doing that interview at trackside then. So hopefully I won't get any more sodding emails about Colin Perry begging me for yet another bloody interview, because at that point I think I would just fall asleep. I would do a Kimi Raikkonen, go in my trailer, and then just go fast asleep for as long as I need to. So there we go. I think that's the end of this episode. It's time to wrap up there. So thank you guys very much for watching, and if you do like the video, then hit that like button and leave a comment and let me know your thoughts, and do hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell icon as well to follow the series and be notified of future videos. So thankfully I got this one completed, so next one I will try to put out probably my next My Team episode, which is in Monaco, which is going to be a bit of a troublesome episode to do. I anticipate plenty of crashes and plenty of instant replays may very well be used, so apologies for that in advance, but I think there's going to be some point where we're going to have to turn up the difficulty on the campaign. But nevertheless, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Spark, you guys have been Brill. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!